People often dismiss what they can't understand. You were quiet, reserved, someone who didn't seem to fit the mold of a threat. They laughed behind your back, underestimated the strength hiding behind those calm eyes. They mistook patience for weakness, mistook silence for submission. But that's the problem with arrogance. It blinds even the smartest to the power lying in wait. You watched, you listened, and when the time came, you made your move. Now, the laughter has died, replaced by a panic they never thought they'd feel. They're losing, and it's all because they never saw you coming. The first blow was a shock. The ground shook under their feet, and that smug confidence began to crumble. They thought they knew you, thought they had you figured out. But power is a game of perception, and you played it well. Every calculated step, every unspoken word, was part of a strategy they never imagined you were capable of. Watching their surprise turn to fear, seeing the cracks form in their carefully constructed facade, it was a masterpiece unfolding. You gave them a show they never expected, a twist in the plot that has left them scrambling for control. Underestimating you was their fatal error. They prepared for battles they knew how to fight, against opponents they understood. But you became something unpredictable, something that couldn't be tamed or contained. Your strength wasn't loud or brash. It was quiet, resilient, unyielding. And when you finally unleashed it, they had no defense, no plan, no way to stop the onslaught. The tables have turned, and now they're running out of moves, out of time. The victory they were so sure of has turned to ashes in their hands. Their world is unraveling. The empire they built on the assumption of their own superiority is crumbling, brick by brick. Every advantage they thought they had, every asset, every ally, is slipping away. It's poetic, really, watching them scramble, seeing their desperation grow. The predator has become the prey, and there's no place left for them to hide. The fear is palpable now, thick in the air, and they're suffocating on it. Power was their playground, but now it's their prison, and you're holding the key. You played the long game, and you played it well. Patience is a weapon, one most people don't know how to wield. You let them think they were in control, let them gloat, let them underestimate you. Because you knew that the sweetest victories are the ones that come when no one sees them coming. Now, every step you take is a reminder of their mistake. Every move you make sends shockwaves through the foundations of their crumbling power. They thought you were small, insignificant. But the game has changed, and you're the one calling the shots now. Their fear is your symphony, and it plays so beautifully. Every look of confusion, every whispered panic, is a note in the masterpiece you composed. They're haunted by the realization that the control they once had has slipped away. They underestimated you, and now they're paying the price. Each day, each moment, is a reminder that they failed to see what was right in front of them. You were never powerless. You were just waiting, biding your time, watching as they dug their own grave. What they never understood is that real power is not about noise. It's not about flaunting strength or forcing respect. Real power lies in patience, in knowing when to strike, in understanding that sometimes the greatest threat is the one that lies in wait. You embraced the shadows they feared, turned their arrogance into your advantage. And now, as they watch their world fall apart, there's nothing they can do to stop it. The hunter has become the hunted, and their desperation is delicious. Their pride was their undoing. They thought the game was already won, that the outcome was inevitable. But arrogance is a double-edged sword, and it has cut them deeply. Watching them try to salvage what's left, watching them fall apart piece by piece, is a reminder of just how blind they were. They thought you were playing their game, but in reality, you were creating your own rules, writing your own script. And in this story, they are the ones who lose, the ones who never saw the storm until it swallowed them whole. Victory is not always about winning the obvious battle. Sometimes victory is watching those who doubted you realize how wrong they were. It's the look of shock in their eyes, the way their hands shake as they try to understand how they lost. It's the chaos that follows, the undoing of everything they thought they had built so perfectly. Their underestimation was the beginning of their end, and now they're left in the ruins of their own making. They never stood a chance, not against the force they dismissed so easily. Beneath the masks we wear, there's a world of torment no one truly sees. Pain is a quiet companion, whispering secrets to the soul, wrapping its icy fingers around the heart. Some suffer loudly, their agony evident, raw for the world to witness. Others, however, have perfected the art of concealment, burying their anguish beneath laughter, confidence, or silence. These are the true warriors, the ones who carry the heaviest burdens without ever letting them show. It's a twisted irony, how the most shattered souls often seem the strongest. The pain runs deep, unspoken, unacknowledged, but never absent. Every person you meet is fighting a battle invisible to the eye. People bleed in ways that cannot be seen, wounds that cannot be bandaged. There is a cruelty in underestimating this, in brushing off the suffering of others as weakness or melodrama. Pain carves a person, molds them, reshapes their very being, and yet society teaches us to hide it, to put on a brave face, to never let the world see us break. It's a sick game, this act of pretending. Those who hide it well are often seen as unshakable, but inside, they're battling demons that would crush most people. The thing about hidden pain is that it festers, poisons the spirit, until it has nowhere left to go but outward. People who hide their agony learn to channel it, to weaponize it, to use it as fuel. The world underestimates these people, the ones who smile through tears, who laugh while carrying the weight of 1,000 unshed cries. But every suppressed scream, every silent sob, is power waiting to be unleashed. It's a potential most can't comprehend until it's too late. Until that hidden pain becomes an unstoppable force, a reckoning. Kindness should be instinctive, but it often isn't. The world is too quick to judge, too eager to label those who show vulnerability as weak and those who hide it as unfeeling. But pain does not discriminate. It grips everyone at some point, reshaping them in ways that are irreversible. The softest souls, those who once loved fiercely and cared deeply, are often the ones who transform the most. Pain is a brutal teacher, and those who survive its lessons become something else entirely. Stronger, darker, more capable of unimaginable feats. Never assume you understand someone's limits just because they wear a smile. Pain can be the fiercest motivator, driving people to acts they never thought themselves capable of. A wounded heart, one that has suffered in silence for too long, can become a weapon. While others waste their strength in loud displays, those who have been silently hurting sharpen their rage, hone it like a blade. They prepare in secret, growing stronger with each breath, each whispered promise of revenge. They're the ones no one sees coming, the ones who strike hardest when the world least expects it. The quiet ones, the ones who seem unassuming, often harbor the darkest storms. People underestimate them, mistaking quiet for complacency, stillness for surrender. But still waters run deep. and beneath the calm lies an ocean of unspoken sorrow, of restrained fury. It's a grave mistake to dismiss someone just because they hide their suffering well. Those who have learned to endure silently know what real strength is. They have faced their own abyss and emerged transformed, unbreakable, relentless. They are not victims of their pain. They have become masters of it. Pain, when wielded properly, is a source of power unlike any other. It's raw, pure, and all-consuming. Those who harness it, who learn to shape their suffering into something lethal, are unstoppable. The world rarely prepares for the silent ones, the underestimated souls who have been hardened by life's most merciless blows. Their vengeance is not loud. It is deliberate, precise, and terrifying. Because they know what it's like to be on the edge, to feel broken, to be forgotten. And when they rise with a purpose that cannot be swayed. Life has a way of breaking the kindest spirits, but in that breaking, something beautiful and terrifying is born. People learn to armor themselves, to grow fangs and claws where there once was only open vulnerability. The underestimated ones, the ones who seemed harmless, become predators. They move through the world differently, eyes sharp, minds sharper, driven by the pain they've carried for too long. And when they finally show their true strength, it is always a surprise. The world watches in shock, never having expected the quiet ones to be so fierce. Every unkind word, every betrayal, every time someone's suffering was dismissed, it all adds up. It becomes a weight they learn to carry, an energy they learn to transform. People underestimate the broken, forgetting that healing isn't always about becoming soft again. Sometimes it's about becoming sharp, about learning to wield the pain like a weapon. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Rules and laws are meant to keep society from descending into chaos. Yet, they are a fragile construct, a desperate attempt to cage the darkness that lurks in human nature. The good, those who have integrity carved into their bones, act responsibly not because of the fear of punishment, but because of an internal compass that guides them. Their morality is a fortress built on values, on the whisperings of a conscience that needs no external enforcement. For them, the law is redundant, a formality that barely touches the surface of who they are. But others, the cunning ones, view laws as mere obstacles to be twisted, bent, broken. Bad people do not see rules as limits. They see challenges. Every law becomes a game to them, a puzzle to solve, a wall to scale. Where the good see boundaries, the wicked see opportunities. There's a thrill in subverting the system, a sense of power in outsmarting the enforcers of morality. They dance around the lines drawn to protect society, laughing at the naive belief that words on paper can contain them. And for every new law, there's a new loophole, a way out, a way to win. For them, the game never ends. The world is full of these lawbreakers in disguise, masked devils who exploit every rule in place. They wear suits and ties, carry briefcases, or hide behind charming smiles, making a mockery of justice. They thrive in shadows, slithering through society's cracks, finding loopholes, exploiting weaknesses. And while good people sleep, believing in the comfort of order, the rule breakers scheme, always 10 steps ahead. The law is their playground, and they bend it to their will, knowing that those who enforce it are always a step too slow, a bit too trusting. Laws are the cages of the guilty and the weapons of the innocent. The wicked have no qualms about slipping through the bars, tearing at the fabric of society for their gain. They believe in nothing but their own desires, and for them, morality is just another chain to be shattered. The The good rely on the law to keep the wolves at bay, but the wolves have learned to wear sheep's clothing. While society clings to the illusion of control, the cunning are already at work, eroding the very foundations of justice. Goodness is a light that needs no law to shine, but darkness thrives on rules, finds pleasure in breaking them. The law becomes a playground for the malevolent, a system to be outwitted and manipulated. They find satisfaction in proving how easily they can slip through the fingers of order, how the laws designed to keep society safe become a mere inconvenience. They are predators among the unsuspecting, living proof that no law can contain a determined spirit. The chaos they bring is methodical, calculated, a twisted masterpiece that mocks the very idea of justice. Responsibility is a word the good live by, an oath they take without needing an audience. But the depraved, those who see the world as a game, feel no such burden. Their hearts are hollow, their conscience silent. They take what they want, bend what they can, and smile while doing it. Their darkness does not sleep, and no amount of laws will make them pause. While the good act out of a sense of duty, the wicked act out of pure desire, driven by a hunger for control, for chaos, for more. The world is a battlefield between those who uphold the law without being told, and those who mock its very existence. The rules are simple for the good, unspoken and ingrained. But for the dark-hearted, the rules are nothing more than suggestions, easily twisted and discarded. They live in a world of loopholes and double standards, always one step ahead, laughing at the idea that justice can ever truly catch them. The laws become a dance floor, and the wicked lead, spinning circles around those who believe in fairness. There's an irony in this game. The law was never meant to keep the good in line. It was designed for the liars, the cheats, the monsters hiding in plain sight. But those who need laws the most are the ones who find ways around them. The truly responsible need no leash, no threats, no fear of consequence. They act with honor, with decency, with a quiet grace that stands in stark contrast to the schemers who laugh at the system. And while the good sleep peacefully, the dark-hearted plot, their minds spinning with ways to win. Yet the wicked always underestimate something. They underestimate the strength of someone who has played by the rules and grown wise to the game. When the good person finally sees through the facade, finally understands the twisted dance of manipulation, something shifts. No longer naive, no longer willing to be a pawn in a game rigged against them. They become a force to be reckoned with. The manipulator becomes the manipulated. The hunter becomes the hunted. Gratitude for pain sounds twisted, almost absurd. Why thank the hands that wounded you, the circumstances that nearly broke you, or the people who made you bleed? But there is power in embracing suffering, in treating every blow not as a punishment, but as a lesson, a gift. Hardship is a forge, a crucible that shapes and strengthens. The world rarely teaches through kindness. It prefers the language of adversity, speaking in scars and tears. And if you listen closely, those lessons are invaluable. They show you who you really are when stripped of comfort, how fierce you can be when survival is the only choice. Setbacks are blessings in disguise. They force you to adapt, to sharpen your instincts, to dig deeper into reserves of strength you didn't know you possessed. A smooth road teaches nothing, but a treacherous path awakens a cunning you never knew you had. Those who never face obstacles live in a fantasy, unaware of how fragile they are. But you've stumbled, you've fallen, you've been humiliated. And yet, each fall made you more dangerous, more unpredictable. Gratitude for setbacks is not naive. It's the realization that every barrier made you smarter, made you hungrier for the victory you now chase. Even bad people, the so-called villains of your story, have their purpose. They are the antagonists, the catalysts for change. Without them, your growth would stagnate, your power would lie dormant. They are the darkness that brings out your inner light, the storm that tests the strength of your foundations. Dealing with liars, betrayers, manipulators, these aren't curses but challenges. They sharpen your mind, teach you how to play the game, how to survive in a world that rarely plays fair. Be grateful for them, for the way they forced you to become ruthless, to shed your naivety and embrace the warrior within. Hardship and cruelty are the teachers no one asks for but everyone needs. They drag you to the brink, make you question your own resolve, your own worth. But standing at that edge, you discover something terrifying and magnificent: your refusal to be defeated. Each insult, each setback, each betrayal lit a fire in you. While others crumbled under the weight, you adapted. You became unpredictable, resilient. There's something deeply villainous in the way you smile at those who thought they had crushed you, because you know the monster they helped create is no longer under their control. Training in the art of peace isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about understanding that peace must be earned, must be fought for, even within yourself. Hardship is not your enemy, but your mentor. Learning to navigate suffering, to thrive in chaos, is what separates the strong from the weak. Those who only know comfort are unprepared for war. But you, forged in suffering, have learned to find stillness in the storm, to see clearly when others panic. The art of peace is violent in its own way, a paradox that only the truly tested can understand. Setbacks and obstacles are a masterclass in patience. They teach you to bide your time, to strike when the moment is right, to understand the long game. Those who face no resistance never learn this. They become predictable, impulsive, easy to read. But the one who has suffered, who has faced loss and humiliation, learns the beauty of waiting, the elegance of strategic silence. You owe your mastery to those moments of pain, to the times when everything seemed lost. Each defeat was a map, a guide to the path of ultimate victory. Adversity breeds warriors, not victims. Weakness is a luxury for the untested, for those who have never had to claw their way out of the dark. You have been there, faced your demons, battled the doubts that screamed in your mind. And each time you came out stronger, more ruthless, less forgiving. People who thought their betrayal would break you only strengthened your armor. You wear your scars like trophies, each one a reminder that survival is its own art form, one you've mastered with a villain's grace and a warrior's heart. Bad people and hard times have gifted you with something priceless: perspective. You see the world for what it is, not for the fantasy that comforts the naive. You understand that nothing is given, everything must be taken, earned, fought for. The naivety you once had is gone, replaced with an unbreakable resolve. This is the art of peace, knowing that pain is part of the dance, that setbacks are opportunities, that enemies are teachers. Those who have never faced darkness cannot understand this, but you've lived it, embraced it, become unstoppable because of it.